what I spoke about at the end of the first hour in an interview with Texas Monthly, Archie Manning, the patriarch of the Manning empire, if you will, saying that Arch is going to stay at Texas no matter what happens this year. He's not leaving for the NFL after 2025. That's not going to happen, is what he said. What's your opinion of all of this?
I'm not surprised at all. We did a big story on Arch about 6 weeks ago, and it was really from the perspective of Cooper, his dad, and Ellen, his mom, and how they raised him, and just the process of raising the next Manning, but also just raising kids in the social media era, which is obviously different than what
no doubt.
Archie's three boys came through. But one of the things that I remembered Cooper telling me was I think they were very mindful of, there's no need to rush if I think he's seen plenty of examples of the NFL world is quick to throw guys under the bus, as soon as if things don't go great right out of the gate.
Like Caleb Williams is a perfect example.
Well, the other one I remember us talking a little bit was Baker Mayfield.
That's another good one.
Right? And he finds a great second act now in Tampa.
Mm-hmm. Which is technically his fourth act.
Fourth act,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? I'm not saying that to nitpick. It's just...
Yeah, he went to the Rams. He went to the
there was a journey that nobody saw coming when he was first overall.
Yeah, and so we talked about that, and I think he really had a lot of perspective on that. In that, being ready when you're ready, like it's really important. And it was like no real need to rush the process. So I'm not surprised. The other thing that I think people lose sight of, because Arch's name has been out there. We've talked about him for a long time, I feel like, on this show. And I feel like people forget he's only started a couple of games. And this is his first time. It's his team. And for one season, even if it's 16 games, which the season's obviously now longer for really good college football teams,
right?
It's still not that much of a sample size. And so I know, I kind of saw a little bit of the social media chatter off of the comments from Archie about this, and just in the back of my head, not even the back of my head, I was like, okay, you can all have your perspectives on what's good for business or whatever and money. Like, the Mannings know more about developing quarterbacks than anybody else does, right? I mean, both sons who are highly rated coming out of high school blossomed into great, iconic quarterbacks. Everything that seems like they've done with Arch to this point seems like it's been spot on. So somebody can say, oh yeah, it's like, it doesn't make sense to do this, or, they can talk about business or whatever. Like, A, they're doing well financially. And B, everybody I've talked to there, including somebody I talked to yesterday at UT, thinks he's loving, having the time of his life there.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, because when I saw this quote from Archie as well, I thought it could also be a great way to just, let's not have this conversation with this kid this year. Like, let him, because they, obviously the Mannings know all about developing quarterbacks. They also know about business. They also know about life, right? This kid is going to have an opportunity to be the starting quarterback at the University of Texas. Let him be a kid. Yeah. Let him be a kid on campus. Let him be the BMOC. Peyton remembers what it was like on campus in Knoxville.
And it's different now, by the way, because of the camera phones and all the social media challenges.
I was saying, like, when I was thinking to myself, when you're like that social media, when Peyton and Eli and Cupper were of that age, Snapchat was basically like about cadence for them. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like that. So that said, just let him be a kid and try and provide the cover for it, because the NFL is going to be there. And one would think, like, if he does have a monster season and they do survey the scene and go, you know what? A really good organization with a really good coach and a really good ownership group and a really good front office has the first overall pick, or would move up to take Arch. Got to consider that. Like, that may be something that is down the road, but why not just provide him some cover right now and say, don't ask him about it. Don't make this season about what's next in the NFL. Just make it about, let him just live in an Austin bubble, and go about his business, be a BMOC, and live his collegiate life, because that day will soon be over.
And I think part of it isn't even it's like the opposite of the BMOC part. I think even though that's going to be there,
right.
I think everything I've heard from their family, but also the people at UT who I talked to, is he gets to be as much of a regular guy as he can be there.
Yes.
Right? You go to the NFL, and all that changes, right? And so I just think time is on his side. Now, the one thing of all, and I get it, where it's like, there's different situations. The situation that Caleb went to is very different than the one Jaden Daniels ended up in last year. And that's kind of a fickle process, how it can kind of play out.
Yes.
There's an injury component that obviously people can worry about. It's a physical sport. But I just think in terms of like maximizing who he is as a quarterback with reps, with time on task, with all the experience and exposure, that benefits him in the long run, but it certainly benefits him in the short run especially. And then the other side of it is if he's done everything he wants to do to be at Texas. This is why it's really important. Now, all of a sudden, it's his team. Why would you want to rush that? I mean, if you're him. Now, I get it why all of us in the media world,
yes.
It gives us something to talk about because he is such a recognizable brand, even if they don't want to be a brand. That's what he is to outsiders.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.